Today we're gonna test the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K in terms of photography. Let's test it out together. Hello guys, thanks for tuning to my channel again. As I mentioned in the intro today, I'm really curious to see how the Blackmagic performs in terms of photography. If you are one of those content creators like me that travels a lot and they take other photos and videos and create that kind of content, then you might be interested in the video, so keep watching. As I mentioned, I create a lot of different types of content and I needed a camera that allows me to do either photography and videography, and that's why I always used Sony Alpha cameras. When I was on a specific video shoot instead, I used to hire video cameras, professional video cameras. Now, lately I decided to buy my own professional video camera and I went for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. I'm also one of those creators that travels a lot and I don't want to carry much gear around, and that's why I was looking for something portable and compact. I'm just not sure if I can take professional photos with this camera, so that's why I'm here today with you guys. Let's test it out. First of all, bear in mind this is not a photography camera, so there are a few features missing in the body and in the camera itself. First issue is the autofocus. As you know, the autofocus is not great on this camera. Again, it's not a photo camera. Usually when I vlog with the 16-35 and I focus on my face, it works pretty well. Actually, it's spot on. But now with the 70-200 millimeters lens, it is really struggling to find my mom's face over there. So no. And probably also you need to be in very good light conditions as well. Here we got some shades and shadows from the trees, so it's not working great. In terms of grip, the camera body is actually very good, so you can hold it with no difficulties at all. In terms of button, like photography button, that is a pain. So it's a tiny button right there, and like half of the time it doesn't work. So I'm not really sure how that works yet, but you really need to press it and go deep with your finger. So something else worth mentioning is there's no viewfinder in the camera, so you need to use the monitor, and in bright days like this, again, it's not great. You can barely see what you're shooting, and there's a lot of reflection as well. So I was trying to show you guys through the monitor what I'm seeing, and I'm really struggling because I can't see, and there's a lot of reflections again, so you can't see either probably. In terms of video file and codecs, so you can grab DNG files, which you can adjust in Photoshop and Lightroom anyway, so that is a good feature. We're gonna see when we get indoor, we're gonna test it out and do some grading. I'm gonna show you what I can do with them. So guys, I'm now using the 70-200 millimeters lens, shooting at f4.6 with the shutter speed 1/500 more or less. Right, so I'm now trying the 70-200 at 70 millimeter. Actually, let's squeeze in. Well, let's take two. So one at 70 millimeters, which is this photo here, and one at 200. I'm shooting at f4.5, again shutter speed 576. So another thing I noticed, you can't really do long exposure photography just because the camera wouldn't allow you. So if your frame rate is, for example, 30 frames per second, you won't be able to go under 130 in terms of shutter speed basically. I just switched lens and I went with the 16-35. I'm using two Canon today and a Samyang. The Canon are the 16-35 f2.8 ultrasonic. This is the Mark III, and the same is for the 70-200 millimeters. So Canon, f2.8 Mark III, and I've got the Samyang 10 millimeter, which goes up to f3.1 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, here we go. So that's the 10 millimeter. Bear in mind also the Metabone, the speed booster, gives you one extra stop of brightness basically. So you might need a filter in bright days like this as well. I'm now shooting at 35mm. We're gonna see together in post-production how the skin tones are as well, in terms of pixels, in terms of quality, image quality, and what we can do with the color grade and all the jazz. So hopefully we will be able to achieve good results for Instagram and social media at least. I'm pretty sure you won't be able to use this stuff for professional print and things like that. So let's try some texture now with wood and grass and natural objects. Another little thing is there's no shutter noise, so whenever you press the shutter button you won't hear any noise. The monitor wouldn't click or wouldn't do anything in particular. So there's a tiny icon on the top right corner which is lighting up, so you need to make sure that icon is on, otherwise you wouldn't have taken any photos. So just make sure you can see that tiny icon on the top corner. It's like it looks like a camera icon. 10mm on. My mom sitting down. We're gonna take this photo right now. A bit of landscaping, Instagram, whatever. Here we are, guys. We just changed location for some low light performances, low light tests. Ouch. So sunset right there with the mountains, Alps over there. So we're gonna test the low light performances in terms of photography. A couple of extra things. When you use the Metabone speed booster and you use a very wide lens like a 10mm, you will see some vignettes on the sides. They're actually not vignettes. I think it's the lens itself. So you can see the lens, the side of the lens in your frame. So you probably need to crop in post-production. Sun is down. I can see the mountains over there. I'm really curious to see the noise as well in the photos, if there's any. As I mentioned before, also you can only go down in terms of frame rate to 23.9, and in terms of shutter speed you can go to 124. So you can't go lower than 124. You can't do long exposure photography, I'm afraid. So for today that's all, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider to subscribe. I'll see you in the next vlog, and until then, take care. God bless. Mom, di ciao ai ragazzi qua. See you next time.